There is a major push to halt all new SpaceX Starlink launches. Let's talk about it. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much once again joining me for tea time. Today we have a little bit of misty morning and that is it. You like the Jack mug? Come on guys, I know you do. Do you? Tell me. I love Jack. Today, as you can see, I have my US Army shirt on. We're gonna be talking about the military. We're gonna be talking about SpaceX. 120 astronomers and experts basically putting the kibosh on any new SpaceX Starlink launches. I was reading an article, really fascinating, and I think they hit the nail on the head. I want to go through some of it for you, also give you my commentary, but more importantly than my commentary, I want to hear from you. What do you think about this? What should we do? How do we balance environmental and the safety of the nation? So, before we get into it, I just want to say that if you enjoyed the content, throw it a thumbs up. That's very helpful. Don't forget to subscribe. If you're not, if you are, I appreciate that. Click this little notification button over here so when I go live and when a new video comes out, you'll be notified of it immediately. And if you want to say thank you for all of my hard work on this channel, there's a thank you button. You can click down there, give $1 or $2 if you like. If not, that's perfectly fine. The video is still free. Consider becoming a member of the channel. That would be even better. And if you haven't downloaded any of my ebooks, check them out at JCristina.com/books. Once again, JCristina.com/books. They are free just for you being here. Also, if you want more Starlink content, I have over 350 videos I made just for you. There'll be a button over here. Don't click on it yet. Go here to this playlist and you'll find all of those helpful how-tos, tips, tricks, what to buy, what not to buy, how to do this, that, but most importantly, the why behind all of it. Check that out when you're done watching this video. So let's get into this article. And then once again, I'll give you my commentary. And then finally, I want to hear from you down below. If you're shy and you don't want to put something down there, put an emoji. I don't care what it is. A little rocket ship, a satellite, maybe a poop emoji, whatever. I'm happy with anything. It helps out a lot. The risk of halting Starlink, America's security on the line. A coalition of 120 astronomers and space experts is pushing to halt SpaceX's Starlink expansion, citing environmental concerns. Always. While potential effects on the Earth's atmosphere deserve attention, halting Starlink could carry a far greater risk for U.S. security, especially as China aggressively expands its own satellite network. Pausing Starlink could leave America vulnerable to space-based threats, undermining technological and military capabilities. Environmental concerns versus security risks. The astronomer's letter to the FCC calls for the pause of all new Starlink launches, arguing that deploying tens of thousands of satellites could release harmful gases and metals, potentially harming the ozone layer. Estimates suggest that up to 29 tons of metal could re-enter Earth's atmosphere daily during peak deployment, raising concerns for public safety and the environment. However, focusing solely on environmental risks ignore a more pressing threat: the erosion of America's strategic edge in space. If regulatory delays slow SpaceX Starlink's growth, the U.S. risks falling behind as adversaries like China continue to rapidly advance. 100% the case. China's aggressive space strategy. As debates over Starlink continues, China is deploying 30,000 low Earth orbiting or LEO satellites, posing a significant security threat. If China leverages these networks to jam or spoof GPS signals, U.S. military operations could be disrupted, compromising America's defense. Disrupted GPS would severely hinder military responses, compromising missile guidance, troop coordination, naval navigation, and the operational effectiveness of Air Force fighter planes. China's space initiatives are not merely about global internet access. No, they're not. They are also focused on military applications like electronic warfare and anti-satellite capabilities. Expanding its LEO network positions China to challenge US's space dominance. GPS spoofing, the real danger. The danger of GPS jamming and spoofing is not hypothetical. China has previously spoofed GPS signals to mask military assets. Space-based systems would allow broader, more undetectable GPS disruption, posing a grave threat to U.S. military operations. While ground-based jammers can be located and neutralized, space-based spoofing presents a different challenge. If China's LEO satellites are used for this purpose, the U.S. military's ability to operate effectively in conflict could be severely impacted. Absolutely. Regulatory delays, a critical weakness. The astronomers and space experts criticize the FCC for allegedly fast-tracking satellite approvals without environmental reviews. While evaluating environmental impacts is important, stalling SpaceX Starlink's expansion could weaken U.S. defense capabilities. If bureaucratic delays hinder the growth of American satellite networks, adversaries like China may gain a strategic edge. Absolutely. Unlike the U.S., China faces few regulatory hurdles, if any, and can deploy satellites more swiftly. Pausing SpaceX Starlink risks giving up the lead in space technology to a competitor that could rapidly outpace America's capabilities, falling behind in the space race. Halting SpaceX Starlink isn't just about the environment. It's about whether if the U.S. can maintain its edge in the new space race. Dominance in LEO is critical for military strategies involving communication, surveillance, and defense. Regulatory barriers threaten to erode America's space leadership just as China is accelerating its satellite programs. China's LEO expansion aims for military superiority, not just better internet, that's for sure. Controlling a vast satellite network would enable China to disrupt GPS or deploy space-based weapons, endangering U.S. assets. Pausing SpaceX Starlink could surrender this high ground to a nation with no intention of slowing down. Conclusion: the stakes are high. Calls to pause SpaceX Starlink over environmental concerns may be well-intentioned, not really, but they miss the broader risk to U.S. security. Absolutely. Delaying SpaceX Starlink could not only slow technological progress, but also expose the U.S. to threats like GPS spoofing and jamming. America faces a pivotal choice: secure space dominance now or risk losing it to a rapidly advancing rival. The consequences could be dire, with U.S. security and military preparedness hanging in the balance. 100% the case. I love this article because it kind of gives us a little bit of a view on what is going on. Number one, we have 120 astronomers as well as space experts that are petitioning the FCC to basically halt all future Starlink launches until they can do this massive environmental review. The problem here is, guys, in 2018, right, what is that now, 6 years ago or so, the U.S. military was conducting maneuvers in the South China Sea, and what they found was their navigational systems were not working. GPS was being spoofed by China. So this is not just like something that they're just coming up with. This is something that has been determined. They actually have seen this happen. Now, this is a big problem. If you don't understand how some of these missiles, for example, work, I mean, guidance is absolutely imperative. I mean, when we look at SpaceX is super heavy, literally within centimeters, that all has to do with guidance, right? So there is laser-based missiles, right? You need to have boots on the ground. But then most of the missiles are GPS. Now, if you were able to spoof GPS signal, you could have that missile land a foot off target, 10 feet off target, 100 feet, a mile. You follow me? It's a major problem. Imagine if our Army, our Navy, all of our military didn't know where it was using GPS at any given time. This is a big problem. I think what's going to end up happening here is I think they're going to reach out to Elon Musk and say, listen, is there a way that we can use Starlink as a backup to GPS if somehow our GPS is compromised? And yes, there is a way. And especially when there's 30,000, 40,000, 43,000 Starlink satellites eventually up there. It'll be very difficult for them to block GPS at the point. So the problem is now is the GPS satellites are sitting up in not MEO, not LEO, but all the way up in GEO. Really far up there, right? So those satellites are very vulnerable, let's say, to any type of signal underneath them. I don't think it's hard to understand that there's a possibility to, instead of focusing the beam from a LEO satellite onto Earth, changing that signal and now sending it up towards a GPS satellite. Jamming it, basically, right? Not that hard, I think, to do. So I really do believe there's a lot here weighing in the balance. And they have to really look at this as, do we want to stay militarily advanced when it comes to space, or do we want to relinquish to China? All right. And if you want to just give up our advancements to China by basically slowing and stymieing and blocking SpaceX Starlink, then so be it. I just don't think that it is a smart thing to do. Now, if NASA created SpaceX Starlink, I would be all for NASA because I'm more of a military guy. You know, I would rather be prepared militarily than environmentally. Now, I think that environmental is very, very important. I live on 5 acres. I have a lot of trees, plants, I am an environmentalist, so to speak. All right. I take care of the environment. But the big but here is there is a sacrifice, and you have to understand that, just like they said in the article, China doesn't have regulatory issues, all right? When they want to send a rocket, they send a rocket. If it lands on the top of someone's head in a house, well, we'll pay a couple of bucks maybe to the family, and that's really about it, okay? That's just how it goes. They are going to launch continuously. They don't have this regulatory body worrying about any type of pollution. Look at the pollution that's pouring out of China. I mean, it's probably 100-fold to what we have here in the US, but we continue to worry about all of the environment, whereas the rest of the planet is not. Now, that doesn't mean not take the high ground and actually worry about the environment. That just means to think before you do stuff. And once again, like I always say, these regulatory agencies, FCC, FAA, Fish and Wildlife, are very myopic, tunnel visioned, right? They cannot see the forest for the trees. They are just in there. The bigger picture is national security, but they don't see it. So these 120 players, these 120 astronomers and space experts that have been peer reviewed, that's why they're experts, filed a document with the FCC to put a kibosh on all new SpaceX Starlink launches. Will it work? What do you think? I think that SpaceX is so entrenched in the US government and military that they would not even consider it. That's what I think. I don't know. What say you? What do you think? What do you think they should do? Should they go the military route? Should they go the environmental route? Should it be something in between? What should they do? I want to hear from you. Once again, down below. If you're shy, like I said before, put an emoji down there. That will make me happy. Finally, head over to my website, JCristina.com, where you can find all the photography tools and my merch and my tees and my shirts and my books and everything else. Pick something up. I would really appreciate the support. Many blessings to you and your family. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay connected, and we'll see you in the next one. Love you all.